Jafet is about to get busy, so hands on the congas for now.
Hands on the congas. Hey guys, thanks for joining us on the Elation podcast today. We're here with Cesar Bacaro. See, I did it. You have to do this to get it right. We are going to talk about a bunch of musician stuff and a bunch of technology things, but let's just start off on your origin story, where you're from and how you got to New Orleans.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. And nothing, I've been a musician my entire life, so New Orleans is a city who kind of is attract every
Absolutely.
single musician in the world. So my family live in Lafayette, a couple of hours from here. So
Right.
when I first moved to the States, not too far from the source. So immediately I feel like I had to be here.
They
I
called
belong-
you, yeah.
Correct, because the culture is so similar to Cuba. So what a better place to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So your heritage is Cuban then?
Correct.
That's awesome. Never been to Cuba, a place I've always wanted to go to. Pretty crazy things going on in Cuba right now. Maybe we could talk about that later. But and funny enough, I've been on the Buena Vista Social Club kick. I don't know why for the last 3 months, but I obviously listened to the album when it came out years ago, but recently it just popped in my head. I've been playing it constantly. But so Lafayette music. Did you have family musicians, or you a bunch of musicians in your family? Is that how it all started?
Yes. So my great grandfather actually, he was one of the founders of the first danzonete bands in Santa Clara. He used to play every Sunday night in the main square of the site of the Santa Clara or hometown. And but after that, kind of like the whole tradition disappears. Then my dad is always being an amateur musician. He used to play bass with his friends from college his entire life. And when he was 45 years old, around 45 years old, he started playing with this amazing trio in Cuba. And I got a call from Silvio Rodriguez, which is one of the big figures on the music scenes in Cuba. And he been lucky enough to play with him for 14 years before moved to the United States.
Okay, so you saw it coming up, growing up. It was kind of how it caught you, right? What instrument do you play?
I play percussions.
Okay,
Yes, I remember being a kid and my dad having bunch of instruments around the house. And every Sunday, I remember this particular TV show is called Palmas y Caña in Cuba, which they play traditional Cuban music. And I used to grab the bongos, I plays all the time, drive my mom crazy until she decided, in 5th grade, I was 7 years old, to take me to the music school. And that's what everything started.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I love the bongos. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so when you came to New Orleans, what was the first thing y'all started doing? Did you start gigging here? How did you come up in the scene here?
Okay, so when I was living in Lafayette, I was doing some trips in here to meet, to know the city, to start getting into the scene. And of course, the first people that I met was Latin people, the Latin,
Right.
salsa bands. So one of the first band that I'm playing in town with is Son at Que Pasa Fest. So Que Pasa Fest, the Latin festival on Canary, is one of my first introductions to like the Latin community,
Gotcha.
to the music scene, and until I decided to move here, and then everything take off
Take off from there. Yeah. It's a big Latin scene down here. Most people don't realize how big it is down here.
Correct.
There's a lot of culture down here from the Latin world all over the place. And Que Pasa Festival's pretty big, isn't it?
It is. It
Yeah.
is, and it's getting bigger every year.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And it's funny, Kenner does have a big population of Latin people. I love it. I think it's one of the best cultures that we can have in America. I mean, it not only is it a fun historical culture, but also assimilates very well with our morals and I feel like the way we want our country to run, you know. So I feel like it's a great addition to the future. So the more the better. The
Correct.
more the better. The Cuban music is very specific to Cuba, like just like New Orleans music is. Can you explain some of the dynamics of a Cuban musician, or some things that you guys do that's just specific to Cuban music?
Well, in New Orleans specifically, we are trying. There's a, like you say, it's getting bigger. The music community, Cuban community, is getting bigger. We have names like Victor Campbell, which is killing it up there. Um, Jusa, which is an incredible musician. He's one of my favorite people to play in town with. We got tons of artists that are showing up, and I feel like Cuba is a country who has been built by the music since being influenced by everywhere. So I feel like
Right.
what's happening in New Orleans with the Cuban musicians now, we integrate, we play Latin music, but with New Orleans rhythms, we
Right.
try to mix up with the culture. And I feel like uh, that's amazing. And that's one of my favorite things to do,
Right.
I used to play with the 79ers gang, which is a band, a Mardi Gras band, Mardi Gras Indian band, which I love it.
Right.
And you can feel the connections in between the Cuban culture and the New Orleans culture,
Right.
which, and you can tell also people are thirsty for new things, for like,
Absolutely.
because it's just not about pure. There's nothing that is pure. It's everything.
No, well, especially jazz isn't pure, and it's jazz
Correct.
is a collage of people's emotions and feelings in different cultures
Correct.
that came into something.
Correct.
Blues is a little bit of the similar. So the things down here that we've had historically is a collage, and we've also had Spanish culture, we've had French culture, we've had the pirates, we've had a lot of different Latin culture, we've had a lot of things that have collided already in those genres, and the African culture. I mean, there's so many things
Correct.
that, especially with the percussion, the African stuff kind of meshes well with it, so I feel like it fits.
Correct.
I feel like it fits. Well, what's been your favorite gig that you've played down here?
Well, I love play jazz fest in general. It's one of those experiences that you show up and you say, "This is the reason New Orleans sings."
Right.
And every single stage that I touch in jazz fest, it's special. It make you feel like, okay, I belong here.
Right.
I feel like, we contributing to the culture,
Right.
and we'll stick to the music.
Absolutely.
And yeah, definitely jazz fest is one of my favorite stages to play at.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, and now I know that you've moved into the tech space, helping musicians, which is I feel like it's a space that musicians almost need help in because of how tunnel vision a lot of musicians are, and especially because of the business side and whatever it may be always gets a little blurry, and the instrument's right in front of you, but everything else is a little blurry. So I feel like it's a great thing to have musicians move into the tech side, because they can truly help people because they understand the dynamics of being in both. So tell me a little bit about Giigs.
Correct. Yes. Like you say, being a musician my entire life, right? So I realized that the most difficult thing is not to find a musicians or a venue to go. Is what is wrong behind that. It's chaos everywhere. It's just a uh, like actions of booking the musicians. It takes longer than it should.
Right.
And it's a problem that is always being overlooked because we are being used to it. So with Giigs, it's a platform, it's an ecosystem that we are creating to centralize or simplify the way small venues or managers find local musicians and run the bookings through it. For example, small managers like Bacchanal, venues like Bacchanal, or they managers of those small venues spend like 80% of the time trying to book the schedule, right?
Right.
Believe it or not, like with like very old systems still, through text
Absolutely.
messages,
Absolutely.
emails, how good musicians are and playing music, but how disorganized they are also.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's what I mean by everything's blurry on the business side. They focus about right here or right here, or
Correct.
right here. All this other stuff is extra. You know, um, they don't want to know. They don't want to focus on where the mic is on the live stage. They don't want to focus on the actual business side of the booking. They don't want to focus on the management side of the rider. They don't want to focus on some of that stuff. So like the more tech that comes involved that can organize for you, the better.
Correct. Yeah, all we're trying to create is simplify things for all of us. We're trying to give the musicians the tools that they can use for free. We're trying to use give a venue a tool that they can simplify the way they run in the process. Like just start making things smoother for the economy.
Right.
And instead of I spend like 4 or 5 hours trying to book just a simple ad dedicated to like things that are on the venue side. So, of
Right.
things.
Well, and most people don't think about that. There's way more small venues in America than there are big venues.
Correct.
So there's a huge gap in that space because your Ticketmasters, your Live Nations, your AEGs, they've kind of taken over the big venue spaces, but those small venues, 100 to 200-300 person capacity venues, there's nobody managing that stuff. They're out. Everybody's out for themselves between the artist and the venue itself. So if there's something that can bring them together.
Correct. Yeah, it's the point. It's like bring everyone together in this ecosystem because like it's disconnected. It's
Right.
like musicians is running their business. Imagine like hundreds of musicians running their own business, like
Right.
Venues separately, like running to scatter like ways to reach musicians. So now it's just about simplicity. You just open the app, just find the right ad for your venue, just reach out to them and just hire in like 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, and I feel like it'll make musicians work a little harder too, because when that process is cleaned up, they're going to work harder on getting more venues than having to worry about pick up the phone and calling, which we all know is kind of a lost art nowadays.
Correct.
And nor did you know really who to call.
Correct. Correct. And I feel like it's the way to keep musicians, like profiles updated, with the latest pictures,
Right.
Keep your content going so you become like more than just a simple musician. So people who want to like come hire you or check you out, the most accurate your information is, the most accurate your profile is, the better it is to be found and to get hired.
Absolutely.
As simple as
Well, so, and I understand you did a lot of the coding yourself.
yes. Yeah, I did a boot camp. We started, me and a co-founder. Shout out to Brent Perks. Is the co-founder and CTO of the app. So he's the one who decided to take over to keep going with the coding stuff.
Gotcha.
Because when we realized that it was getting like real, that it can become something. It was getting too complicated for.
Right.
So I talked over the business sides and
Well, it's hard to do everything. It's hard to do everything. And I struggle with that stuff myself as well. As you get it to a certain point, and then it's like, okay, well, this is now going to become actionable. I need help.
Correct.
So, and it's always good to take on those partners. How did you figure out the coding? Was that something that you had already learned, or you kind of went after to learn to do this specifically?
Yeah. So with the pandemic hit, we musicians, everything stopped
Right.
right at the sun. So I used to work on the kitchen too as a chef, and I lose both of my jobs.
Right.
So, and I'm one of those person who constantly need to be learning something. And I just watching, scrolling through YouTube, like most of us
Yeah.
was doing, and I just came out to a cool, I don't know, learn how to code. Look at cool this is, and I just got so into it, and I ended up doing a boot camp, and 4 months intensive coding. But as soon as I realized, and as soon as I start coding and I finished the boot camp, I realized that I didn't want to learn, like land a job in it.
Right.
I want to develop a tool to help musicians and me personally and the people around me simplify the
Right.
way we're running things right now. So that's kind of like how the initial idea came to.
That's
fruition.
awesome. Do you guys use any AI for coding?
No, right now,
Right.
most of people do right now.
Right.
But usually the initial coding, like AI is developing an incredible speed. So we're talking about we working in this for 3 years now, and when we start working 3 years ago, it was basically just ChatGPT.
Right.
So there is definitely tons of tools right now who can improve the ideas or help you like clean the code. But we did most of the
Yourself.
coding ourselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, that's definitely the best way to protect it is to do it all in house
Yes.
and yourself. How are you finding to navigate some of the securities as far as copyrights or contracts to make sure that you keep your code right now because of the AI? How do you find, is any of that more difficult to navigate than it should be?
Well, there's always you always need to be protected about like cyber. You always need to have like cybersecurity, especially when you run payments and stuff.
Right.
But regarding protecting from AI from all those attacks, I feel like we own our data, so we have like a proprietary
Right.
algorithm that we build. And yes, it's just about like keep the data secure, protected, and I think like we're gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, you're better than most because, I use AI for my coding because I don't understand the dynamics of coding. I come from the music background. I understand line of sight and some of the logistics, but forgetting to put an asterisk or a mark or a space somewhere, it would take me too long to figure all that stuff out. So I've actually used it recently in doing some stuff, just getting ideas out the head, and then you can take it to a coder, but I just bring that up because I feel like it, just like with music production, it's kind of taking out some of those processes that would take hours or days or years to do. So how do you feel about AI with music?
Well, those are one of the things that we want to kind of like protect, because AI, is inevitable. Inevitable. How you say that?
Inevitable. Yep.
Sorry.
Bacaro.
And but there is something that AI can build. Of course, like you say, it can build a software 100% in like 3 days if you want to. But the relationships that we building, the actually physical musicians going to perform,
Right.
the relationship with the venues, that's not easy to replicate, especially coming from the top.
Right. Absolutely.
That's, I feel like, is one of our value proposition.
I got you. What's next for Gig? What are you guys working on?
Well, we keep moving on development. We are strategizing new exciting ideas. One of the things that we are gonna launch soon is because we understood that just the booking, simplifying the booking, it was not gonna be enough to bring those consumers to the door, right? So we are now kind of like about to launch, still strategizing, but on the discovery side, when somebody open the app, instead of like create a profile, we just want to make it simple. you just open the app and you will see what is going on around you in real time. So
Right.
we will be giving those consumers who download the app for free the possibility of like, hey,
Seeing where the event is.
this event rapid happening right now, starting like 20 minutes,
Right.
2 miles from you. You should show up. You know, like
Right.
kind of like make it more interactive. Let's say just break that gap
Right.
from the scrolling and see what the schedule is to bring the consumer to the venue store.
Understood. Any thought of connecting like a merchandise type sale for the artist?
It's a things that we are been discussing. For example, most of the things that we complain about is like the music rights, you know, and thing that we have been talking about in the long run futures. I don't want to like overpromise or anything, you know, but possibilities to artists to sell like physical merchandise like vinyls,
Right.
CD, because we notice a lot that there's the people's need for more of the physical things now that AI
Absolutely.
is taking over,
Absolutely.
and having that gadgets on your hands made people be more connected to the
Absolutely.
musician and the art
We
itself.
were just talking with the last guest. We were just talking. She's more in live production, live events, but she was just talking about how events should go back to a paper ticket because of
Correct.
how emotional that paper ticket was. I mean, we talked about it. I still have tickets of when I was a kid and 11, 12, 13 years old, and that ticket is in a shoebox somewhere, or I framed it somewhere,
Correct.
depending on the act. So like it was a very important piece of the puzzle, and that emotional connection. So that being said, that's why I was asking about merchandise, because vinyls are selling more now.
Correct.
Even some of the genres, like the rock genres, are selling cassette tapes. I don't know where they're playing them, but they're selling cassette tapes, But I think in the end it's cheaper to do than vinyl and produce, and it's still like a physical item. So, and they still get the inside book, and they get to write the story and all that stuff, which you miss nowadays,
Correct. I'm pretty sure somebody still have a creepy car with a CD player,
There's
a
a
cassette
creepy
player
car somewhere with
I'm
a
pretty sure.
cassette tape. I guarantee you, New Orleans. Yep, 100%. There's probably an 8-track somewhere. But that's awesome. Well, do you find being a musician helped you understand some of the back end of the coding, or the actual process of creating what you created?
Definitely. I mean, I don't think I would be able to create any of these or come with this idea with my co-founder if I'm not a musician, because at the end of the day, I'm the one living the problem every day.
Right.
I'm the one who need to get a second job because, it's hard to live out of the music.
Absolutely.
And not just me, it's people around me, my friends who I see hustling every day, like most of musicians spend hours trying to set up a simple like 5 days tour around,
Right.
And definitely being a musician for me is like because I'm on the scene, so, and I've been in both sides,
Right.
the manager side, I've been on the hiring side, so I'm trying to definitely use most of my pain points to develop and make things easy for everyone, for sure.
Awesome. Well, so you're still performing though, correct?
Correct.
Do you have an album coming out soon? Are you doing any recording?
Well, I've been working at several projects around town. I recorded a couple songs with Lex Wasowski's bass player, Jafet Perez. We are working in some cool stuff all around, but it's mostly like live shows.
Gotcha.
But Jafet is about to get busy, so he's hands on the congas
Hands on the congas
for the next 3 weeks.
Gotcha. Maybe we'll do some recording over the summer.
Please,
Yeah.
yes, I would love to. I can definitely bring some instruments and bring some vibes in here.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to it.
Well, now you have a way to find a band in town.
Now I got a way to find it.
Now
Absolutely.
you can download Giigs and find a band is like 5 minutes. If you want.
Well, I also wanted to give you props. I love the name. Like,
Thank you.
names are very important. They have to be simple, direct, and understood the second you read it. And you got it. You nailed it on that one.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on that. And congratulations overall. I mean, I feel like it's a space that needs help, and I hope it's something that kicks into gear for you.
Thank you so much.
So great job all around. Where do you think your end goal is with Giigs? Do you think it's to get to a point to where it gets big enough to where you end up selling it to a major company, or is it something that you see going forever on?
Well, as of right now, I don't even think about that. It's something that I don't have on the play. We're being like extremely focused on like develop this in New Orleans. Starting here, for example, or what we think grows right now, and the big vision is when everyone you are in the city, open the app before you say I'm going now, you check Giigs to see where I'm gonna go right now, and behind the scenes run the infrastructure to make those gigs and the bookings very easy for musicians and venues. That's the big vision.
Well, and you have moved outside of New Orleans, right? You do have another city, right?
Yes, we have been working with a few venues in Atlanta, which have been running the booking system to the app, which is a multi locations in Atlanta called Trop and Tap.
Okay.
Which is been doing great. We are being running more than 100 gigs over there. So they kind of like, we see the increasing of booking because how simple and how many new talents you can find through the app.
Absolutely. Right now. Well, and being able to book a tour and go from Atlanta to New Orleans, or when you start spreading out to different cities, being able to book a tour completely on the app is going to be great for you. Because I feel like musicians can then step out of their comfort zone and go perform in other cities. Which, unfortunately, a lot of New Orleans musicians get stuck here. I feel like in a lot of ways, Miami is kind of a similar situation where a lot of bands get stuck in Miami and they just play Miami, but they could play 4 times a week, 5 times a week, But here you can kind of do that too downtown, but it's not as much money to spread around either. But it's good for New Orleans musicians to be able to play in other cities and showcase their talents. Definitely
will gonna be way easier now to be even discovered in other places. For example, now if you're a venue owner in town and you want to check somebody in Atlanta, you will have that musician listed on there. So it will be kind of like filling that gap of discovery, like not just in the city, but in the future as we spend in in the different city too. Yeah,
absolutely. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate everything you're doing, man, and I'm proud of you, and I hope the best for you guys. And we'll be a supporter for sure. I'll tell everybody about it. We maybe we have to make Elation a venue, and we can do some shows in the warehouse.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Awesome. You want to share any socials or anything about Giigs?
Yeah, just Giigs app on Instagram. Just check it out. Just go to Apple Store. Just Giigs, Giigs. And you can found it there, and yes, check it out. If you are a venue or somebody music lover who are looking for local artists, just check it out. It's very easy to adopt, and it will be super interesting.
Awesome.
Of amount of musicians you will find already in the city.
Awesome. And where can we find your music?
Life
everywhere.
Find me around. Find me in Jazz Fest.
All right, great. Well, listen, once again, thanks again, and we'll see you soon. We'll keep in touch.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and thank you so much again for having me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for watching today, and if you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe to Elation Podcast, and I'll see you next time. Peace.